Good morning, everybody. Thanks for being here. I will talk about the ReCoDe project, the one that I have been working on last year. And the main goal of this project is to give the students some hands-on approach to some computational aspects. And in this case, we use the Mandelbrot set. The project itself has 3 parts, and I'll be talking today more about the first one, which is a good starting point. And when it comes to the Mandelbrot set on fractals in general, it's actually quite sort of new math. In the 90s, they used to call it new mathematics. And one of the striking features of that is that we have these all complex patterns that sometimes repeat, sometimes not. And as you go down the scales, it starts to have some sort of what people call subsimilarity. For example, in turbulence, you will see some of these patterns, but we don't need to solve complex differential equations. So this is like a lightweight model to get this. One of the innovations of Mandelbrot was not on discovering the equation or deriving anything, was the use of computational tools to achieve and discover all these things. So let's start with a basic equation that the students will do. We basically show this in single-threaded form. We use one CPU, the other one's in idle. So we map each pixel to the complex plane. We use the complex option of C++, which help us use the math directly. We run a simple iteration. Basically, everything is there. And either the points stay in the Mandelbrot set and they get a color, or they escape, blow up, and how fast it blows up, we give a certain color level. In this case, we use the vector class of C++, which help us with dynamical allocation. And in terms of I/O, we storage that in ppm format, which is off-stream. So it's more easier to handle that in Fortran, where you have to deal a little bit more with the I/O. One particular thing in this first project is that it can get out of hand very quickly because we are running single-threaded. We have, for example, 1,000 pixels multiplied by 1,000 pixels, so we have 1 million pixels. But then for each point, we have to get a space for 1,000 maximal iterations. So the time complexity can get very out of control, and you can start modifying a little bit, and you can run up to 20 gigas very fast. So we use nested loops sequentially, so each pixel has to wait for the next one, but that's fine because that's the first part. In the second part, we do some optimization. I/O is not really a problem. It saves the file very, very quickly, but because it runs sequentially, it goes one row in one direction, column in one, we have very inefficient memory access, and the memory has to come for runs. So it creates delay, what people call cage miss. So time for some visualizations. On the right, we see what is called the island regions. It's just a small section next to the main body of the Mandelbrot set. And one interesting feature is we have all these type of bifurcations or branches, but then we have repetitions of the same body again in certain islands. And these are sort of islands of stability. You can find similar patterns there. So it's a very nice example of the recursive type of characteristics. In the other hand, in the Seahorse Valley, what we have is the same Mandelbrot set, but we have a constrained space. And you can see here this type of galaxies of seahorses, completely irrepeatable. And you can see the high sensible dependence on the initial conditions, which is a hallmark of chaos. So I want to finish this presentation by inviting you all to check my project, where we go on deeper into how to optimize the code, use some multi-threading, and how to use scientific visualization tools to make a very nice rendering that you can use for competitions or anything the like. It's very detailed. A lot of my experience from my PhD is there. And I hope you all enjoy. I'm very happy to talk to you after my talk. Thank you.